to the center, the happiest place on earth.
All right.
Good morning. So we perform the ceremony at the start of this beautiful Sunday service to promote the universal consciousness of life, which acknowledges that all people and all faiths, all beings, come from the one great universal presence, which we call spirit. The unity candle represents the unifying nature of all religions, religious thought, and experience, which we honor here today. We light the first candle for the shamanic traditions, honoring the beliefs and practices of all indigenous peoples, the way of primal spirituality. We light the second candle for Hinduism, honoring the path of knowledge, action, and devotion. We light the third candle for the Tao, honoring the universal path of harmony and equilibrium, the natural way. We light the fourth candle for Judaism, honoring the ethical path of living by sacred law. We light the fifth candle for all forms of Buddhism, honoring the Four Noble Truths and the path of compassion. We light the sixth candle for all forms of Christianity, honoring the Christ consciousness as the path of love. We light the seventh candle for all forms of Islam, honoring the path of compliance and the will of God as the highest calling. We light the eighth candle for the universalistic religion of Baha'i, honoring the path of unity and peace. We light the ninth candle, honoring all forms of new thought, honoring the metaphysical path of mental healing through the practice of universal spiritual principle. We light the 10th candle for inclusivity, affirming that all are welcome here. And please put silently into the light names of loved ones, knowing that they have the experience of Spirit's eternal love. Namaste.
The next few minutes of our program, we call it centering or meditation part. It's just an introduction before the service. I invite you to get comfortable. If it's comfortable for you, close your eyes and look within. Each and every one of us has our own way of meditating or centering. There's no one way or wrong way or right way to do it. And if you find yourself being distracted like I do, just gently bring yourself back and remind yourself there's one life. That life is God. That life is with us right here, right now, in this sanctuary, Las Vegas Center for Spiritual Living. Again, I invite you to go within and release any doubt, worry, fear, anxiety, resentments, anything that doesn't serve us to be whole, complete, loving individual that we are, that we're here for. And let's dwell upon those God-like qualities that we all have, which is love, joy, beauty, happiness, peace, which is the moral fiber that we all have. And for the next few moments, let's just dwell in the silence and know that God is here, right now. And as our centering comes to an end, I invite you to open your eyes slowly if it's comfortable for you. And know as our service unfolds with its beauty and joy and revelations that we'll experience this morning, let's just say thank you. Let's say it again, thank you. And one more time, thank you. And join me in saying, so it is.
Would you like to join me in singing on holy ground? We are standing on holy ground. Yes, we are. And I know there are angels all around. So let us praise God now, praise God anyhow, for we are standing in God's presence on holy Everyone would just close their eyes very gently. And as I stand on this holy ground, being in an absolute wonderful state of gratitude, standing before each and every one of you on this sacred holy ground, knowing that this is a magical morning. There is only one presence. That presence is God. God is love. There is a golden light that is filling this sanctuary. The love that emanates from each and every person here. It is so magical. And I am one with this golden light emanating in and through and around me and around everyone here this morning. Knowing that we are all here by divine order. And I just know that this day just unfolds magically. The energy, the love, the light that is shared here today. And I stand in a state of gratitude for our beloved reverends, for the energy, the knowingness that they bring from this teaching to each and every one of us. And I am so grateful for the musicians, for the volunteers, everyone that makes this place such a glorious place to be on Sundays and throughout the week with all the classes. And again, I am just so grateful and so thankful to be here today with all of you loving beings. I release my word to the divine law. That is God's law, God's word, God's love. And please join me in saying, and so it is.
Well, good morning. And so welcome to the Las Vegas Center for Spiritual Living. I'm Reverend Dan Jerome. I'm one of the co-senior ministers here, along with Reverend Cheryl and Reverend Stacy. And today is our special Christmas service. So we're going to be doing things a little bit differently, some things out of order. So if you'll just stand for a moment, and if it's comfortable for you to do so, please place your hand over your heart and repeat with us, God bless America and the rest of the world. And so as we kind of start our Sunday service, take a few minutes, turn to the people around you, and know how precious life is, and just share your love.
Thank you, Kitty. Awesome. That was fun. Okay, our poinsettia is here. Clem informed me that he put them up here with precision and exact measurements, and they're beautiful. Thank you, Clem. I love that. You know, you can take them home today, whoever purchased them, or you can leave them here to continue to decorate for the rest of the month. It's up to you. And I will read the dedications. In honor of Joan McGivney, in honor of myself. I love that. Monica Valerio, in honor of the Valerio and the Usai families. Kathy Maple in honor of John and Betty Maple. Mary Jo Clark in honor of my family. Kitty Schuler in honor of her parents, Dr. Paul and Mickey Bose. Mimi Howe in honor of Holly Ordanian. Gina Graham and Ray Manson in honor of all our children, grandchildren, and great-grandchildren. Ooh, I love that too. Gail McMahon in honor of Justin Boyd and Sherry Miller. Bob and Karen Crouch in honor of Reverend Dan, Reverend Cheryl, Reverend Stacy. We love you. And we love you too. I'm speaking for them, which I do often. So. Leroy Harris in honor of myself. Yes. Tom and Tina Grossman in honor of Reverend Dan Jerome. Gladys Rudolphski in honor of myself. That's awesome, Gladys. I love that. In memory of Tom and Tina Grossman, in memory of Tommy Jerome. Mimi Howe in memory of Irene Zucchelli, and in memory of Alice Howe. Margaret Cantwell in memory of Aunt Kit, Kathleen Holmes. The congregation in memory of Reverend Cynthia. Yes. D. and D.L. Chapman Jr. in memory of D.L. Chapman Sr. Mignon Brown in memory of my mom, Florence Johnson. The Seeleys in memory of Mom. Brenda Pratt in memory of loved ones. Carol and Amy Minor in memory of Evelyn Calhoun. Reverend Stacy Hilton in memory of Lavinia and Wally Hilton. Marlene and Wayne Moran in memory of Helena, Michael, and Stephen. Monica Valerio in memory of Oliver and Carmen Valerio. Aldo Iniguez in memory of Mercy Iniguez and Herbert Eimerman. Reverend Cheryl Bell, me, that's me. In memory of my mom, Gladys Bell. Diana Dazio in memory of Mom. Amy Minor in memory of Howard and Evelyn Calhoun, and Willard and Loretta Minor. Carla and Robert Santucci in memory of Michael Sicoli and Angelo Santucci. Thank you.
I think he needs, yeah, exactly. I think he needs no introduction. Although he is tremendous, and we could just do this if you want for a second. Okay, please welcome Jonathan Carruth.
All right, good morning everyone. It's a pleasure to be here.
Change the world, there's nothing to it. Come with me and you'll be in a world of your imagination. Take a look and you'll see into my imagination. We'll begin with
Christmas. Happy holidays, whatever that looks like for you. So this morning, our theme this month is happiness and fulfillment. The talk title is Spiritual Conviction. And the sub-talk title is what Christmas has come to mean for each of us. And this few brief years that we've been ministers. We have a little video for you to start us off.
Christmas is all about. Isn't there anyone who knows what Christmas is all about? Sure, Charlie Brown. I can tell you what Christmas is all about. Lights, please. And there were in the same country shepherds, abiding in the field, keeping watch over their flock by night, and lo, the angel of the Lord came upon them. The glory of the Lord shone round about them, and they were sore afraid. And the angel said unto them, Fear not, for behold, I bring you tidings of great joy, which shall be to all people. For unto you is born this day in the city of David a Savior, which is Christ the Lord. And this shall be a sign unto you. Ye shall find the babe wrapped in swaddling clothes, lying in a manger. And suddenly there was with the angel a multitude of the heavenly host praising God, and saying, Glory to God in the highest, and on earth peace, goodwill toward men. That's what Christmas is all about, Charlie Brown.
Good morning again. So that's the traditional thought of what Christmas is all about, right? And I grew up in this teaching, so my thought is a little different. We'll get to that in a minute, but really prior to, I'd say the last 3 years or 4 years I've been a minister, I'd get up here I'm like, that's not what I think Christmas is about. So how am I going to do Christmas and Easter? We're actually going to have Lauren read the Christmas story this that was her first thought. And I said, she also grew up in religious science, so might have had a little stretch with that as well. So, in my adult life, it's been about family, it's been about connection, it's been about food, it's been about drink, it's been about merriment, it's been about fun, but on a different level than it is now. And it's not necessarily because I'm a minister, it's just kind of the evolution of things, kind of a awareness of who I am and what I'm meant to be on this universe, on this planet. And so the connection, the Christ connection, has really become a lot more important to me than in previous years. And my acknowledgement and awareness of that kind of, I'm hoping reflects that. Hoping. We don't hope, we just know. But that's still in the hope stage. Hope is better than not hoping. So in this past 3 years, I was just nervous about my relationship to this thing called Jesus, which most of you came from traditional backgrounds, and it's very important to you. So sometimes I felt like the Grinch that stole Christmas when I would get up here, and would tell you that I'm not sure that I believe that Jesus walked this planet. And I've also said that it doesn't matter to me, because there's a lot of power in myth. And so if that's how you look at this as myth, it's still power there. Something doesn't have to be necessarily real to still bring power to life. That is the power of myth. I think last Christmas I bought my dad a whiskey glass. And it said, the man, the myth, the legend. The man, the myth, the legend. He got a kick out of that. And it came to me this morning as I was preparing my talk, because I've been out all weekend, hanging out, celebrating Christmas with friends, celebrating the beginning of Reverend Cheryl's birthday, celebrating the power of this thing called Christ consciousness, celebrating me, celebrating you, celebrating all of it. The man, the myth, the legend was what I woke up to this morning. The Spirit kind of whispered in my ear, and I was so grateful for that. The man, the myth, the legend. Joseph Campbell says this about myth. We need myths that will identify the individual not with his local group, but with the planet. He also said this, myth basically serves 4 functions. The first is the mystical function, realizing what a wonder the universe is and what a wonder you are, and experiencing awe before this mystery. The second is a cosmological dimension, the dimension with which science is concerned, showing you what shape the universe is, but showing it in such a way that the mystery again comes through. The third function is the sociological one, supporting and validating a certain social order. It is a sociological function of myth that has taken over in our world, and it is out of date. But there is a fourth function of myth, and this is the one that I think everyone must try to relate to. And that is the pedagogical, I never pronounced that correctly, function of how to live a human lifetime under any circumstances. It's what the Bible does for us. It gives us a set of playing rules for what we can do if we believe in the power and the presence of the one mind, the one spirit, that which I call God. You may prefer to call it energy, divine intelligence, infinite intelligence, whatever you like to call it. But it is that is that set of rules that the Bible gives each of us, if we choose to work with that. There's a whole bunch of sacred texts that basically say the same thing. And that is the power in which Ernest Holmes, with the science of the mind, he combined all of it to the same thing, those same common thread, if you will. The same common thread. But Jesus brought about forgiveness. He certainly brought about love. He brought about a knowingness of who and what he is and his relationship to, he called it his Father. And that's how Jesus made the miracles that he did. My first favorite miracle is the water into wine, right? It's the first miracle. It's my favorite. Right? I know, no kidding. It's a shocker, I know. But miracles, I think now instead of miracles, I've heard them called ordinaries, just kind of God winks. You get in these circumstances and these conditions and when I'm not in this room, when I'm not amongst all of you, sometimes I get out there in the world and I'm like, I don't know if this is my right place, if this is where I should be, where I am called to be. And then you get a God wink. This past weekend we went to Orange County with practitioner Aldo and Maravi and hung out with Daniel Nahmad for a concert in his private studio. It was fantastic, fantastic. And the amount of God winks that I got the whole time was just so fun. My favorite brewery is across the street from where we stayed, called the Golden Road. I had no idea. I didn't pick it because of that, Reverend Cheryl. I didn't pick that Airbnb because of that. We ended up, and I wanted to go have brunch there, but it was closed, and I was kind of, I got down for just 1.5 seconds, and I'm like, oh, something better's on the path. So we went to this wonderful little restaurant called Eat Chow in Santa Ana, with a fabulous cocktail menu, I might add, with wonderful food, and just sitting there sharing with friendship and connection on a deeper level than I had experienced previously during this time of year, allowing myself to do that. So we're going to order our drinks before our food, and the waitress comes up and she says, We asked her her name. She said, my name is Rumi. God wink, right? We were in the right and perfect place right in that moment. We were exactly where we should be. We thought about rushing back because we had to do this and we had to do that. And that told me, this is exactly where I should be and where exactly I should be spending my time. There is no other place for you right now, Stacy. So sit back and enjoy your life. And so Ruby had no idea who Rumi was, the poet. And so we looked up some quotes for her and we decided that she should know this. Maybe that was what she needed in life. And so, Rumi, we said, you're not the entire ocean.
You're not a drop in the ocean, you are the ocean.
You're not a drop in the ocean, but you are the ocean in one drop. And she loved that. And it made her smile. And it gave her a different sense of who she is on some level, I think. Knowing her connection to the universe and the connection to herself and her name, which is her nature. So it was wonderful. And we drove back giggling and smiling and getting ready for this thing called this holiday season. We've got a minister of prayer party today. And we've got this beautiful service with you beautiful people. So however you choose to celebrate Christmas, however you choose to look at Jesus, however you choose to do this whole thing, this whole holiday season, know that you can't do it wrong unless you're sitting there sad. You're sitting there not experiencing who you are and not practicing that which is within you and which is within everybody. Know that you are loved and that you are loved. And if you don't express it any other time of year, which that's not the truth of you, just know that right here and right now is the time and the place to rebirth yourself and be that Christ consciousness that you're meant to be. Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas. Thank you very much, Stacey. We're going for... Yeah, she goes with the flow. Yes, she said our theme this month is happiness and fulfillment. And sometimes that sounds like fulfillment sounds like a lot. But I've been thinking about all the things that we've done all year here at the center. Wow. I can say that I'm fulfilled. Maybe not at the end of that, but I feel full. I'm full. And we have a lot of other things planned for 2019. I'm so excited for all of you and myself. And spiritual conviction is our title today. And what we asked each other to do was to talk about what Christmas, Mike Linus and Charlie Brown, what Christmas means to each of us. And for me, Christmas is about, and always has been about family. You know, growing up and even in young adulthood, always about family. Even once I moved to Vegas or when I left home, which is the same day I graduated from high school, I made a point to be around children. Now I'm the oldest, my mother's firstborn, so that was easy for a little while. And then I had to reach out to cousins, spend the night at their house or the holiday. And I always felt like if I couldn't hear a child on Christmas morning, it wasn't Christmas.
And then you got Stacy.
And you too, Reverend Dan. Just saying. Oh my goodness, don't you love it? You know, my mother, this is my second Christmas that my mother's not here with me on this plane. And it's different. My niece is not here right now. She's doing some things that she needs to do. So my dogs and Stacy. And she's never here. She goes to California with her family, which is wonderful. But I make a lot of calls now on Christmas morning, actually, and I still bake cookies, so some of you might get the benefit of that. Some of you. But for me, it's still about family, and I consider all of you my family. Someone always calls me. I get tons of calls on Christmas. I love, love, love that. I call my dad, my sisters, and they make me crazy because they don't wake up early on Christmas, which makes no sense to me. It's like, I don't know how you could sleep through Christmas. I mean, Cheryl, it's only 7 a.m. I'm like, but I've been up for 2 hours. I don't understand. So that makes it really difficult. But yeah, it's just thinking about on our ride back from California yesterday and thinking about, yeah, this is my second Christmas, and Gladys she's here, but she's not here. And it's all good, it's all good. Christmas is, for me, really growing up, my mother was the one, because my Christmas is only 6 days before Christmas. So, you have grandparents and you have uncles and aunts, and you always got, this is your birthday, but it's also your Christmas present. And the one person in my life consistently who never, ever did that made my birthday completely separate. Well, Stacy does it now, but make my birthday completely separate from Christmas, and to make, what she would say is that's special also. And a lot of times because of all the things happening during the holiday times, I forgot my birthday a lot growing up. But when I would get home from school, my mother was always there to remind me that it's your birthday. I'm like, oh my God, yes. I know that's hard to believe that a child would forget their birthday. But when you have, you have the Christmas cards and all the things that you do in school, you forget. I did anyway. Obviously something was probably wrong with me though. And now, like I said, you're my family, and since becoming a minister, I think about, but I've always thought about it actually, that I would want the feelings that I have at this time of year and the feelings that people express at this time of year to go on forever. To not just be about this month, even though I love, love, love it. I wanted to continue and to be able to, I don't know, happiness and fulfillment. I mean, instead of obviously saying Merry Christmas, I think to say hello to someone, even you're having a good day, as long as they're not, there to harm you in any way, blowing their horn at you because you're not running through the red light or something. That's a story I'll tell you one day. But there's a book we have by George Bendall, Holy Days and Holidays, where he writes about different holidays, and he was a colleague of Ernest Holmes. And I really like this part where he talks about, Ernest Holmes said that we receive more as we grow more. And I can say that's true. We receive more as we grow more. Every day is the new beginning of our growth, and as we grow, we learn more perfectly to apply the principles which we say we live by. So let's begin Christmas not caught up in the sadness and the troubles of the world. Let's not stifle that joyful feeling of the Christ in us from coming forth. On that first Christmas, the world also knew many problems. There were famines, there was violence, there was the tax collector. There was a country ruled by a foreign nation, and the situation of people was desperate indeed. But still they were able to reflect feelings of joy. We sing that hymn, Joy to the World. the Lord has come. Because greater is the God within than any condition or situation. Only through a collective effort can we arrive at that feeling. I may be responsible for my feelings and you for yours. And the peace experience may be available only through each one of us. But you and I don't have to build an awareness of peace. Instead, we give our consent to our work, to a living presence within each one of us. And this living presence is the Christ Spirit in and through us all. And that's what, I love Jesus now. I love the principle, I love the teachings, I love all of that because it shows me, right? And I can be joyful, and I can share that with each one of you. And yes, I'm responsible for my joy, and you're responsible for your joy. But together, imagine what we could do for the joy of the whole entire world, right? So I'm just here to say, be joyful and happy holidays. Thank you.
Good morning. I'd like to introduce a couple of superstars in my life that are part of my talk today. So, Tay and Kate. Okay, so we decided that we're going to talk about Christmas from that event when that being, that human being, was born and came into this earthly experience. And so we're talking about what happens on Christmas Day. So we celebrate the birth of the great master teacher. And oftentimes at Christmas, it gives us a time to reflect at what was Jesus trying to tell us? What was his message? What was his ministry? So I'm going to read a couple of passages from the Bible. And it was interesting because I was listening to what Reverend Cheryl was reading. And I did some research at that time in human history. At the time that Jesus was born, it's recorded to have been one of the most violent times in human history. There was a great divide. There were two classes of people. A very elite class that lived in absolute opulence, and then there was a populace that lived in absolute squalor. The world, I love the way the song says, it was a weary world. And so steps in Jesus. I'll also say these were very, very different thoughts than what the human consciousness was at the time. You have heard that the law of Moses says, love your neighbor and hate your enemy. But I say, love your neighbors. Pray for those who persecute you. In that way, you will be being as true children of your Father in heaven. For he gives sunlight to both the evil and the good, and he sends the rain on the just and the unjust too. If you love only those who love you, what good is that? Even corrupt tax collectors do that much. If you are kind only to your friends, how are you different from anyone else? You are to be perfect, even as your Father in heaven is perfect. And then Jesus said unto them, do for others what you would like them to do for you. This is a summary of all that is taught in the law and the prophets. Jesus looked at them. He looked at them intently and said, humanly speaking, it is impossible. But with God, all things are possible. In the morning, as Jesus was returning to Jerusalem, he was hungry, and he noticed a fig tree beside the road. He went over to see if there were any figs on it, but there were only leaves. Then he said to it, may you never bear fruit again. And immediately the fig tree withered up. The disciples were amazed when they saw this and asked, how did the fig tree wither so quickly? And then Jesus told them, I assure you, those of you at the Las Vegas Center for Spiritual Living, swear to you, it's written right here, if you have faith and don't doubt, you can do things like this and much more. You can even say to this mountain, may God lift you up and throw you into the sea, and it will happen. If you believe, you will receive whatever you ask for in prayer. No exception. But when the Pharisees heard that he had silenced the Sadducees with his reply, they thought up a fresh question of their own to ask him. One of them, an expert in religious law, tried to trap him with this question. Teacher, which is the most important commandment in the law of Moses? Jesus replied, you must love the Lord your God with all your heart, all your soul, and with all of your mind. This is the first and greatest commandment. A second is equally important. Love your neighbor as yourself. All the other commandments and all the demands of the prophets are based on these two commandments. Well, so what do you think? What do you think, Taya? How'd I do?
First of all, me and Cadence have been talking about a way that we think was easier to tell about Jesus' message. Russell, can you please play the video?
Okay, let me just step out of the way there.
This life is given everyone a present, beautiful, shiny and new. Everyone but you. Golden ribbons, diamonds line everyone's path that leads to wide open doors. Everyone's but yours. Wide open doors. Hold on.
Hey, Santa's little helpers, please hand out Jesus' little gifts.
So it's
Over there. Okay.
Did they do that?
Oh, Stacy has more.
Everyone equipped with your styrofoams? Okay.
So if someone says something negative to you, give them the styrofoam of positivity.
When someone judges you before they know you, then give them a styrofoam of forgiveness.
When someone does something kind to you, then give them the styrofoam of gratitude.
Sometimes when parents or teachers are having a rough day, give them a styrofoam of patience.
When someone is homeless and doesn't have what they need, give them the styrofoam of sharing what you have.
When someone is different, give them a styrofoam of acceptance.
Okay, everyone, so I would like you all to take out one of your styrofoams from your bag, whichever one you like, and turn to your neighbor and give them the styrofoam of Christmas happiness, love, and joy.
So one of the things that we talked about this morning when we were practicing was we noticed that when people give Christmas happiness, joy, and love, as you give, you receive, so you still end up with the same number of styrofoams. See? Can never outgive when you're giving love, right? So key.
Just like the little girl squirrel, you can be the one person
That can change somebody's life.
So what do we say? Merry Styrofoam Christmas, everybody. We love you.
Can I tell you how great it is to be a part of this place? Don't you feel the same way? Please welcome that handsome, tremendous talent of Jonathan Carant.
Thank you. This is one of my favorite songs. I love the sentiment. It was written by Artie Butler, and I think it fits well with your theme for the month. Yeah.
no complaints, and no regrets. I still believe in chasing dreams and placing bets. For I have learned that all you give is all you get. So give it all you've got. I have my fun, I drink my fill, and even though I'm satisfied, I'm hungry still to see what's down another road beyond the hill, to do it all again. So here's to life and all the joy it brings. Yes, here's to life, to dreamers and their dreams. Funny how the time just flies, how love can go from warm hellos to sad goodbyes, to leave you with a memory memorized, to keep your winters warm. For there's no yes in yesterday, and who knows what tomorrow brings or takes away. As long as I'm still in the game I've got to play, for life, for laughs, and for love. So here's to life and all the joy that it brings. Yes, here's to life and every melody. May all your storms be weathered. May all that's good get better. Here's to life, here's to love, and dreams come true. May all your storms be weathered. May all that's good get better. Here's to life, here's to love, here's to you. Here's to you.
I would like to ask our ministers to come forward. Any visiting ministers or practitioners to come forward. And Cadence and Taya to please come forward as they were part of our service. I would like to ask our ministry or prayer team to please come forward and join us here. You know, this is not a time for sadness. And I ask that you engage our practitioners. They hold up the center, so I know they can hold each one of you up. If you just want to speak to them or pray with them, they're here for you. They're here for all of us. Right? Thank you. Who's doing our closing prayer? That would be me. I would like for everyone to please stand to connect. Oh, Dan has something to say.
I just want you to know that the styrofoams that we handed out are plant-based, so they're planet-friendly.
That is good to know. Reverend Stacy loves that. All right, let's just go within and just give thanks. Give thanks for this season. Give thanks for this day that we get to spend together as a family in oneness and love. I'm just so grateful for each and every person in this room and beyond. Please remember to celebrate each other and to celebrate yourselves. Always, not just this month. And let's just say it so it is.
And so it is.
And let's sing our peace song.
Yes, there is peace on earth, and now it begins with me. Yes, there is peace on earth, a peace that was meant to be. With God as our power, loved ones all are we. Now we walk with each other in perfect harmony. Yes, peace begins with me. Let this be the moment now. With every breath I take, let this be my joyous vow. To take each moment and live each moment in peace eternally. Yes, there is peace on earth, and now it begins with me.
Repeat after me. Something wonderful is happening to me right now.
Something wonderful is happening to me right now.
I know this in my mind.
I know this in my mind.
I feel it in my body.
I feel it in my body.
And so it is.
And